Boys, get out of here. I want to bounce the ball, and he's about to do that. Steve McBurney, Matthew Nichols, Jacob Mollison are the umpires tonight, and we are underway. Anzac Day, round 5 footy at Patersons Stadium.
Him on the head, free kick.
Early free kick, and we kind of expected them to play an early free kick or two to settle this one down, not let it get out of control. Duffield into ball 1-2. Well, that was out of control. That was untidy.
De Boer's the only negative player in the midfield. He's going to Matt Boyd. The rest are going head to head.
He's back, Bulldogs.
And there's plenty of talent out there, Danny.
No, there is. I think we've got Matthew Pavlich and Griffin. So we've got that match-up. This is mouth-watering, some of these match-ups early.
Cooney Mundy we got.
Ward with a free. No one on the mark. That allows him to bounce and go towards Hall. He's got 2 to beat.
Well done, Johnson.
Beat them both. Almost plays for the free in the end. McFarlane gave it to Duffield. Heads wide. The reach, Griffin. What was it to Hall? Bouncing ball. Hard one to collect. Pavlich. Boyd right with him, but he got the handball up just in time. And it's free kick. It's paid a throw.
No, I didn't think so.
And very early in the piece, you see McFarlane going with Hall, but Johnson is working off to cutting some space.
Gilby launches long and immediate. Rough head down there was the target. And the first score of the evening.
Lots of let off there. Gilby didn't quite get a piece of that ball.
Gee, that looked good to me. That handball.
Yeah, it was quick hands. Umpire was in the right spot.
Yeah,
but
come a long way away.
Yeah, but it definitely looked like he got a little bit of a fist to it, won't?
Duffield to himself, then to Ibbotson. And now McPhee might go the big jump. He does from 40. Oh, he's pushed out. Markovic gave him a big shove in the back.
Umpire missed it.
No, he saw that little flick pass, but he missed that big push. Palmer inboard. Mundy lucky there. Out of trouble. Hill. Little 1-2. Van Berlo. Mundy. It opens up for Pavlich. Could go for goal. Elects not to. Crowley inside 50.
Well, they got it from the stoppage once again, and then straight to their forward line without really a little bit of a fumble with Mundy, but cleaned up pretty well. And it's Crowley that's going to make Robert Murphy very accountable if he keeps getting hands free.
That was the push from Markovic.
But how does Pavlich, being 15 clearances last week, allowed to escape out of the stoppage this early in the game? Rodney Eade wouldn't be too happy with that passage of play.
And that could have set the standard. Let's hope it doesn't set the standard. It's a poor kick at goal, behind.
Well, Danny, you know what coaches are like. You're one for a long time. You talk about accountable footy, but most of the guys there are they are primarily going to win the footy themselves.
Almost out on the full from Murphy.
I agree with that, Jared, but you need a defensive sweeper as well. It's just it surprises me how Pavlich was able to get forward out of that stoppage.
Also means he was being unaccountable, but he just won the Russian roulette.
Well, he probably thinks that Sandland is going to win more taps than he's not.
Sandilands and Hudson. Sandilands got a slap on it. Pavlich almost won the clearance, but in the end, hands on him, wins the clearance. Boyd, Cooney, short, rough head, edged out of it, and cleverly by Grover. Experience there. Grover inboard, and they're away. De Boer, Duffield. Short pass, Ballantyne, flicked away from him by Morris, who's got a big job playing on one of the hot players in the comp right now, Ballantyne. Smothered to Mundy. Shorts it.
That was a smart kick.
McPhee. He shorts it, hoping for Main. Throws it out. Ballantyne. Little fumble, little push. Kepler Bradley. One man's trash is another man's treasure. Kepler keeps on keeping on.
Yes, he's one of footy's great stories, Kepler Bradley, taken pick number 8 for memory by the Bombers, discarded, didn't have a great reputation. That's why it was a good kick, because it was underneath the smother that was coming, and really good control by McPhee. Kick not great, but Main did the work, and so too did Ballantyne. And, well, Kepler was just a couple of metres ahead mentally than his opponent.
And they just kept the ball alive, and that's the beauty of their versatile forward line. Terrific start early from Freo, 21 disposals to 7.
8 goals for the year now, Kepler Bradley.
And not only that, Brian Lake's on him, Jared. So we thought Brian Lake might be that guy, the third man in, but already he's a direct opponent's got a goal.
Hudson on his back, gives it up. Pavlich was lurking. Quick fire handball came out from lower, but wasn't decisive. Ball up. Crowd settles a little. The players have now settled after an emotion-charged opening. And the big slap. Cooney should get there first. Lower attacked it. Cooney kept his feet, knocked it to cross. Boyd around the boundary. It'll be coming back. Ibbotson. Pavlich in the midfield. He's dominating the midfield this year as opposed to being a forward. Johnson wobbles one towards half forward. Tough gather. Cross was down there, left it behind. Ballantyne. Trademark attack. Couldn't grab it though. Boyd does. Murphy. Unkind bounce on this different surface here at Subiaco at Patersons Stadium. And Gilby takes the mark.
The Dogs look like they're pushing Barry Hall up the ground, leaving Jordan Roughhead as one out. He's got a significant height advantage over Anthony Grover.
Oh, Lake, little fumble. Man's already kicked a goal on him.
Yeah, the frontal pressure from Freo at the moment is outstanding. Every Bulldog disposal is under pressure at the moment.
Good match up there, Piggin on Hill.
Johnson caught a little high there. Crowd thought he deserved the free. Ward taps it on, pursues it, gets it up. Cross gives it to Gilby, runs to 45, and for some reason players just want to roll him through these days. The old drop punt halfway up the post doesn't happen.
Well, played with and against Dunstall and Lockett, and I never see them do one of those kicks, Dwayne. It was straight over the goal umpire's hat. Why you would take the bounce of our ball into play when there's no... Well, there was pressure on him, but the kick was just a simple drop punt over the goal umpire.
De Boer.
Interesting the zone from Rocket. He's definitely deeper than others. He's got 6 players inside or outside of the forward 50, outside of the square line, which makes them about 70 plus metres away. Most clubs these days are pushing blokes up, up and around the 50.
No, you're right. I've looked at Lake and Williams. They were still nearly in the defensive 50 for their respective forward 50. So you see Collingwood, for example, today, they're forward of the centre, well in, really putting pressure on the side kicking the ball out.
At Subiaco, you've got to be even higher to get the same effect.
Hudson, Sandilands, they tie up. Sandilands used body and leverage. Lower, tries to scoop it up. Duffield gets it out nicely. Fife went backwards so they could go forward. Short pass from Van Berlo, good. Ballantyne made it good, then fumbled it. Sandilands, Pavlich, launches long. Bradley's the man. Bounced on the forehead. He got his arm slapped. That's why it bounced on his forehead.
Drop the arms.
Well, the kick was too good. That's all they can do, is draw the free.
Time back on. That's it now.
Too far out to score, maybe. He's given it a good long roost. Goal square. Crowley. 3 grabs, not the 4th.
Well, already Pavlich, 5 disposals, Mundy with 3, and Duffield off the half back line. Just rebound footy at the moment.
Well, they've owned the ball though, 35 possessions to 19. It's a slow start from the Dogs. They need to have a couple of their senior players step up and get some footy.
Stayed in after the stack. Kick smother. Hill. Robertson. He looked around to see if there was traffic as he tried to collect the ball. Tap down. Duffield. Robertson makes amends for that little mess. Bradley, 2 umpires, almost in his way, and we'll get a ball in.
Let's take a look at this almost mark.
2, 3. Yeah, never really controlled the ball. Good decision.
At what stage of the juggle are you allowed to slap an arm? Any stage?
No stage at all.
Okay.
Right?
Ball in. Sandilands, big thump.
He's dominating these clearances at the moment with the hands. Danny, the big man, and Ben Hudson just hasn't been able to quite take his legs away that he's been able to do so well, I think, the last few times they've played.
And one thing you can't do is go 3rd man up. It leaves you 1 less on the ground.
Full contact, free kick, Brian Lake.
So free kick to Brian Lake off the ball.
Well, that's just...
It was against
too
Stephen
easy.
Hill, boys, because Brian Lake had given Aidan Ballantyne one, and Stephen Hill came in to give him one back.
Okay.
Well, there's no one forward of the centre. You can see they're 2 tools on the half-back line. That'll come straight back, that kick.
Johnson.
Well, Barry Hall was up there, and this is where he probably should be. Johnson, lower.
But the real concern is their midfield aren't winning the ball, the Bullies. They need to get some quality ball.
Duffield to McPhee. A dominating play, not necessarily dominating the scoreboard, Fremantle. The leads come. There's plenty of movement. De Boer, maybe he was the intended target. Hands it off to Duffield again. And goes long. Sandilands is down there with the reach. Lake went up and went back and got it again. Scything kick, short. Griffin.
Good defence by Brian Lake. He's looking for some form. He's not match hardened just yet. made a couple of blues early in the piece, but has fought back quite well.
Last time these two teams met, it was the Dogs who won by 82 points at Etihad Stadium, and Brian Lake kicked 3 goals in that game.
This isn't bad play. Just control the tempo a little bit. Try and hit some uncontested possessions.
Liberatore, midfield, rough head again, caught behind, forced to fist. De Boer does a bit of boring, gets in there and gets it out. Sandlands busts his way through. Fife, Hill, dragged down, dumped hard legally.
No
Umpire tells him to knock it out, he's gone.
There was just no attempt. There was a terrific tackle.
Boyd floats one inside 50. Higgins, it was over his head. Still a chance to go back and get it. Knocked away from him. Barry Hall plays for the free again, doesn't get it. Johnson gets to Sheeran. Ibbotson, Pavlich, another possession. Johnson, short, Crichton, the late inclusion. Wasn't his fault, the ball was over his head. Stack, hard ball to be marking. Ward does well, hands it out wide. It'll be advantage, Gilby.
You can't go long. You can just see the Fremantle player there on his own in Duffield.
Still elected to take the advantage. Hall, no arm slap free after Grant kicked it inside 50. Grover, back, Duffield long. Kepler-Bradley, 3 to beat here. Goes and the fist beats them all.
Well, Duffield's got his own ball at the moment. He's had 10 disposals and he's going at 71%, 21%, sorry, kicking effectiveness. So that's a real worry for the Bulldogs at the moment. Do they man him up? Because he's the one that's just rebounding the football.
Sandlands works it down, but to Boyd, caught, rough head, and here's your man, Duffield.
Well, this is number 11 now. This is a real concern because he's just playing in front of Barry Hall.
Yeah, he played every game last year. Only Fremantle player to play every game, and yet didn't finish in the top 10 of their best and fairest, which was strange. Turnover, hand up, chance for finally a kick at goal by Griffin, and he kicks it through against the run of play.
It was against the run of play. We talked about Duffield have 11 disposals. It was just a turnover that allowed Griffin to get onto the ball, who's playing on Matthew Pavlich. We just see the turnover here from Duffield. Goes to McFarlane. Yeah, very good tackle there from Sherman. Just had no awareness there, McFarlane. Just had to know the tempo of the game. He played on without having a look and ran straight into Justin Sherman, which really put himself under pressure. Look, he turned his back on it, and that's pretty ordinary defensive play.
And gets a rest for his trouble. Said it a few times, it's almost not worth kicking the goal now. You're better off having an assist.
We saw Dustin Martin last night kick there just about the seal and have a bit of a spell.
From the ball up, Mundy. Pavlich will count that. And a decisive possession. Ballantyne got it from Fife. Weaves his way through with some magic. And McPhee marks 45 out.
Well, knowing when to cut back inboard is one of the more critical decisions players face these days, and it was a pretty handy decision by Ballantyne. He put himself into some pressure, under some pressure, but he was good enough to get on that left boot and still execute.
Well, I just want to have a look off the play. Markovic, who was on McPhee there, the leg rope looked far too long. His starting position was 5 metres behind. All the space was in front of McPhee where he led into.
For the lead back again for Fremantle. Sprays it a little, it bends back. Had it working beautifully. They lead by a goal.
Just a little bit easy, I reckon, for Rodney Eads liking this. Just too much loose players at the centre clearance. And then the speed. Is the speed a problem for the Dogs at the moment, Danny? I'm just sensing that they haven't got the league speed, which is unlike a Western Bulldogs side. They have retired a few older players, but they don't look as if they're going head-to-head for the league speed at the moment.
Just one stat, against top 8 teams, they're down 40 uncontested possessions, which is leg speed. It was just a great goal for McPhee, but just Luke Markovic, he'll learn from that. All the space was in front of McPhee. All the help was behind, so he needs to play where all the dangerous space is, Markovic.
Bradley now in the ruck. That gives Hudson a chance to win a few palm downs. He does to Ward, to Cross, and to Ibbotson. Fremantle can reload. Main is wide. Tough ball to grab. Williams does okay, but Main does even better. Slapped it down, got the ball and chips it inside 50. Back to the man who rucked. That is phenomenal. Kepler-Bradley did the ruck work to start that clearance. And then marks inside 50.
What about the kick out to that half-forward flank down here? I'm not sure it was designed to be anything else except kick it to numbers. They numbered them 4-2, and they worked the stoppage and pushed it up to Kepler Bradley, who got there, as you said, Dwayne, with enormous athleticism.
For number 2 for Kepler Bradley. Strikes it nicely. It just shows the post.
Let's have a look at this kick. There it is, just a big bomb. 2 there and then 2 at the feet.
And just about a set play. And that is very good play because all the zone was on this side of the ground. They've gone to where they had a numerical advantage.
Just comparing the press, the Dockers have got 2 behind the centre square line compared to 6 with the Bulldogs.
Yeah, and that's why Freo are ranked number 1 for tackles inside their forward 50 because they've got more numbers, more coverage, and the Bulldogs are ranked 16th inside their forward 50 for tackles.
Griffin told to go. Trouble. Murphy. Trouble. Out of trouble. Hill. Now Markovic the target.
Nice
Good
mark.
grab.
Good kick as well. I mean, they just have to hit targets coming out of defence.
Ward short. Sits it on Hall. He's everywhere, Kepler Bradley. Looking at half back now on his own. Main dives.
It's purely ball use at the moment. The ball's going at 52%. Freo at 76% by foot.
They are a delight to watch, Fremantle. Just pops it up high in hope, and Pavlich.
Well, that's the beauty of Matthew Pavlich. He's on Ryan Griffin. Pavlich has pushed forward. The kick from Freo, he'll hold up because Matthew Pavlich is running there as a midfield. And you see Ryan Griffin, he was all at sea with that high ball.
So, Gerard, coming off the bye, do you think it has an effect on teams with their lethargy? You think they're lacking run at the moment, the Bulldogs? Could the bye have anything to do with it?
Too early in the season to tell.
It is.
But the indications aren't great.
It's a very small sample group we've got at the moment, teams coming off the bye. Pavlich, as he so often does, he never misses by a mile. He always just misses.
This isn't just a bye either. I mean, some clubs have had byes and it's only been a 10-day break. This has been a 16-day break.
That's true. It's buying a bit.
They've also got a couple of players, Dwayne, who haven't had a lot of preparation, like a Gilby and a Lake. So they're not quite match hardened yet, the Dogs.
5 to DeBoer. They're about to go inside 50 again. Sandlands didn't want to kick. Gave it to Crichton. Said you have to kick. He gives it back to 5. DeBoer dives through a tackle. Back towards Crichton. Buffeted off it. Kearney, the boundary line to do him right now. Crichton keeps it in. Ward bumped off it.
There's that forward pressure we're talking about, Jared.
Yeah, it's hot in the kitchen right now. Crichton back. Sandlands finally has that kick we talked about. And it's been marked on the way back by Picken. And now it opens up because so many players were back. Markovic short. Grant tapped away cleverly by Johnson.
And that's not the bye. That's just poor skill or just poor execution. It's a big day. It's a big moment. And they just haven't settled yet, the Western Bulldogs.
And Grant's their deepest forward there. He's marking the ball on the half-back flank. So the real issue is winning the ball here at the coalface for the Bullies.
Push out from Hudson. He's really worrying at the moment.
Yeah.
So Sandlands could launch this long. He looks up. He's got McPhee coming out from the square. No doubt he'll want Pavlich to go down there. Pavlich says, no, I'm not going down there. So it's McPhee's ball. Crowley stays down, almost steals it from all. Murphy under some pressure again. Ward to Stack. Weaves his way through. Kick is better this time. Roughhead fumbles it though. Kick couldn't have been any better. Tie up in the middle. Sherman dragged down and ball up. And Gerard, you have been saying for a long time now that players, when they're unsure, go for the chest mark and they should be going for it in their hands.
Well, they changed the rule to make it even more beneficial to go for in your hands, Dwayne, and yet the chest mark still gets used. It's crazy.
I reckon more so when players are just a little dodgy about their own form. Boyd sends it inside 50, but that's way wide. That's not markable. That's not gettable. That's almost deliberate. Crowd called for it. Well, a portion of the crowd called for it.
Yeah, 99.9%.
Yeah.
But you're right with that marking. You'd rather make a mistake by making a glorious mistake, having a real crack with extended arms and trying to make a safe mistake.
And we're talking about the one that Jordan Roughhead just dropped. It was one that was speared into the perfect position. But the damage isn't at all extreme at the present time. The Dockers have dominated this first 10 minutes, and yet the Dogs are just a goal away from being basically level.
Absolutely. We're about to tick into time on opening term. And a number of Bulldogs have been a little ill during the week as well. Haven't been able to train. Matthew Boyd missed a session because his first child was born, and cheerio to wife Kate with daughter Chloe. But a couple of other players have been ill this week and haven't been able to train. Bulldogs played down reports that they had widespread illness. But at the moment, they look a little lethargic. Van Berlo edged out of that by Picken.
He doesn't look lethargic, Picken.
No.
He's been great.
He never does. Gilby from 55.
That's better.
That could be the fire starter.
Well, it needs somebody to start the fire, as Dwayne just said, and for mine, Marcus Picken has been starting fires and not getting a lot of recognition for them for the last couple of years. This was just great stuff. He was deliberate, desperate, got it out to a couple of his teammates, Sherman, and then on to Gilby, who this time went through the air. Revolutionary football, Danny.
It's much easier, isn't it, when you kick the ball over the goal umpire's head on? Might sound simple, but he was never going to kick that one along the ground, Lindsay Gilby.
Lindsay Gilby, one of those who was thought to have been unable to train a session or two this week. They did have that long break, as Jared said earlier, 16 days coming off the bye, the extension bye. Boyd bounces it to half forward. Gilby's down there lurking. Van Berlo got a toe on it. Mundy looked up, didn't want to give it first time. Should have given it first time.
They're tackling well, the Bulldogs. That's one thing they're doing well. Yeah, 14 tackles. The Bulldogs only 5 to 3.
They could take the lead here. Grant inside 50. That's over. That's Roughhead with the hands. It was over the head of Hall. Obviously, it was Roughhead, the intended target.
That's deliberate.
Didn't quite hold it.
Now, dead set.
But no one will call for it. No one in the crowd yells.
Yes, umpire, good decision.
Very good decision.
Nichols, that is.
I know it sounds strange, Jared. The Bulldogs look more dangerous running the ball and kicking goals from play than the long, slow, high ball to Hall.
You could tell it was deliberate by the way he bounced it.
Well, the silence gave the crowd away here.
That's right. An end-on-end ball is always going to bounce forward.
With that passage of play there, here's the deliberate kick again. And
you see this is end-on-end. He's looking for extra space. He's not looking for anything else except out on the boundary.
But again, that long kick to Hall, outnumbered.
Yep. Quick kick inside 50 is okay until Lake, who's been pushed forward, overruns it. Free kick, Fremantle. De Boer's ball. As I said, Lake against Fremantle last time these two teams met, kicked 3 goals, played a lot forward. Ibbotson, one of those Fremantle players who took a step up in class last year, represented Australia at international rules, Garrick Ibbotson, so confirmed his class. And here's another. Mundy took a step up in class last year as well, and All Australians probably the next step for David Mundy this year. Wasn't quite there last year.
He was nominated, right?
Yeah, he was, but in the squad, not the final 22.
Well, Aaron Sandilands is ranked second in the competition for contested marks. There's another contested mark.
And big leap from lower. Fife. Bradley knocked away from him. They've got a spark up here, the Dogs. They could even be heading to quarter time with an opportunity to take the lead, the way they've lifted their rate.
The one thing they've done well is they've sharked the hit-outs from Sandilands. It's 10-3 hit-outs Freo's favour, but the clearances, 10 to the Bulldogs, 3 to Freo. As you see, the manic tackling. I think you're right, Jared. Picken started this. He was sold on the ball a couple of minutes ago.
They need some buy-in from Sean Higgins, who's playing in a tough position. He's in death corner, up on that half-forward flank, and doesn't get licence to push up the ground as much as others, even though he's sitting behind the play at the present time. He needs to change his style and get on the scoreboard.
Picken again, hasses his way to a handball towards Ward. Almost ducked into that, hoping for a high tackle. Grover was equal to it. Splendid tackle it was. Cross dumped as he kicks it. It's wide, and Higgins has marked it on the line, according to the boundary umpire. Crowd not happy.
What do you think, Glenn Jakovic?
Well, it's a tough one here. There's that many people down on the boundary line, but that looked out. I'd like to see the replay.
Okay. Well, the umpire doesn't get that opportunity down there, unfortunately.
Sherman
for him.
Dangerous one.
Sherman throws that away, though. It wasn't until that. A legal disposal there, and the Dogs are away. Picken lays yet another tackle, and we'll get a ball up.
It's still like Here we go, look at the out of bounds there. Glenn Jerkovich is right on the spot. There's Higgins having a look at the... Oh, hard to see from here.
This one's better.
But the rule is that the whole of the ball needs to be across the whole of the line.
Good decision, I think, boys.
Oh, gee, Cooney nearly gave away 50 there. Adam Cooney thought it was a Bulldog free. It was Sandlin's free.
I think one thing Rodney will say to his team at quarter time is when you're at the half forward line, run the ball through with hands. Don't just go the long bomb, the bail out to Hall.
Fife to lower, went for Crowley.
Much better from Lake. Interceptive, got to win some ball back and rebound quickly before that Fremantle can put the press on.
Stack back to Lake. Hudson just on, and he waited for that, and Grover took the mark.
Terrific mark, Grover.
Sandlin dishes off the handball. Turnover, though. Hudson, fresh man, as I said. Lake, little casual with the one hand. Morris attacks it. Hudson back again. Pickin, perfect pass. Grant.
He's got Hall one-on-one now.
Barry Hall has hardly seen it.
Jeez, get under this and play fair.
He sees it here. Edged under the ball. No opportunity to take the mark. Little flick back. Griffin, clever. Keeps his feet. Rolls it towards goal. Can't get it to turn enough.
Well, that was the one where you need to have the ball bend and dribble it along the ground. But interesting, Danny, that the Dogs weren't committing to go forward when they had the option and they were looking up. There was no one supporting and running in to support Barry Hall.
I think it's those secondary and third leads that they need. Because Barry Hall, they want to try and keep him as deep as possible, but you're either Sean Higgins and Jared Grant. They're the two half forwards. They've got to present and get dangerous. They're leading into areas where Duffield and Michael Johnson are saying, well, we'll just double team Hall, because if you get it, you're going to get it on the boundary line. They need to work harder.
Sandlin's the target. Got hands on it. Splendid. Needs to take more of those.
She's at a quarter.
He has. Mundy, shortish, off hands. Hill. They spread for him. He takes on Stack, loses. Had to get a handball up. It worked though. Fife, that doesn't work. It's out on the full.
Well, he's got 8 disposals, but getting back to Sandlands, yeah, he's been on fire. 6 contested possessions, 11 disposals, 2 clearances, 2 contested marks. On about quarter of footy.
1 minute 25 left. Morris, Williams, front of the pack. Can't mark. Hudson elected to stay down. Picking again. So Hill got it from Hudson. Main played for the free a little. Felt the contact to the back. Took a dive. Ibbotson. Handball up. Hill. Main.
Looked like a throw to me, that little handball, but got away with it.
The hunger for the contest, the last 10 minutes has been all the Bulldogs. We were a bit concerned early. More numbers, good tackling there from Cross. Just got his hands on it.
Hudson.
Stephen Hill was the one that laid it off.
Murphy.
This is better with Higgins. He's pushed up the ground and he's got himself involved.
Higgins to Grant, who beat 2 there.
Now he's got Hall one-on-one. He needs to pull the trigger quicker.
Nice pass this time. Hall rises. Can't mark it. McFarlane can't handball it. Mops up his mess. One-arm tackle. Got a toe on it. Duffield. Main. Not a lot to go to forward. Goes back to Robertson. And there's a free kick. It'll come back to Main.
Yeah, against Higgins. Off the ball.
Clock stops at 35 seconds.
Speaking of big quarters, fatherhood hasn't impacted on Matthew Boyd except positively. 13 possessions, 9 contested.
Oh, that's true across the board with everybody, Jared. Ballantyne can't take the mark and we'll get a ball in. 23 seconds left on the clock. Full house. Round 5, Anzac Day. Fantastic atmosphere for this one between 2 contenders. Second spot on the ladder is so crucial this year. If not first, with Collingwood still the dominant team, winning again today. Higgins from Ward runs his way through.
Good decision.
Boyd, Higgins, almost delivered out of bounds.
I thought about play. If we looked up and we'd been sitting at home, so mine and Higgins kicking the ball, we got the benefit. Looking up, he looked up. It was an outnumbered situation. Hall 3-on-1.
I think we just saw one of the big differences between the two sides. When the Dockers win it and run off half back, they seem to be able to get the transition deep into their forward line, whereas it's not working for the Bulldogs.
Good pluck that time for Roughhead. It comes to nothing possession-wise, but it will work in his favour, in his mind. A nice mark to finish the quarter, and the Western Bulldogs did finish the quarter well. Fremantle win the term by the one solitary behind. But it's a fantastic contest between these two contenders. Fremantle 2-4-16. The Bulldogs 2-3-15.